Boom, monkeys. We are live. Welcome back to the Crypto Boogie channel. We have a badass stream before the freaking Super Bowl starts. And we got my homie here, Mr. Angry Twinksters. What's poppin', dog?
Same thing, different day, brother. Just trying to get myself prepped to make more of these delicious gains this season. How about you?
Talking about delicious, homie. The name of this stream is Tacos and Kimchi. Tacos and Kimchi, bro. Of course, once we add Agent J, we'll add a third freaking flavor to this shit, man. I've got some memes that are. I tried finding fucking memes associated between Asians and Mexicans, bro. I think I found a couple. I think they're pretty funny, dude. I think we can get away with the Twinksters.
Yeah. It's I give you the honorary permission card. You're good to go.
I concur. Cats, we also got the fragrance of the day. I think this one's a freaking. I think it's pretty damn good. I would have given a higher rank on this fragrance with the exception of the fact that it is a clone. If you look down in the description box, you'll see which fragrance it is if you want to get ahead of the game. But let's move on to the first freaking meme of the day, son. And then we'll hit up the fucking people that got to the chat first. All right, first meme of the day. You ready for this, Twinksters?
Let's get it.
When you're on the 14th beer and La Toxica is back with her shit, but your Chinese homie got your back. This reminds me so much of Agent J, bro. Here we go.
No puedo, güey. No puedo.
Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is right now?
Las 2. A las 2 de la mañana.
Tiempo para ir a la casa. ¿Están esperando los hijos?
Vas a agarrar el pedo.
We need to go home.
A ver, chequen.
¿No te comportas?
No,
Te voy a quitar los hijos y no te...
los niños no, los niños no.
我有自己的原则，我不是一味的让人踩着脚下。我以为我是臭氧饭，我这3年就是想等一个机会，争一口气，不是想证明我了不起，我是要告诉人家我失去的东西，我一定要拿回来。
Voy a seguir pisteando, compadre, porque tú me dices, güey, no, porque tú me dices, porque no sé qué dices, güey. Pero el chile se mira bien motivador, güey. Voy a seguir pisteando a la verga.
Oh my gosh, bro. This shit makes me fucking laugh, dude. The reason I find this so funny, Twinkie, is because I got homies that actually talk like this when they're freaking drunk, bro. You know what I'm saying?
See.
Oh my gosh, dude. I think this could be related to the freaking Moon Gang when we meet up in Vegas, dude. This is we'll call this the final meme of the day. It is anime related, but nevertheless, let's check it out. I think it's pretty damn hilarious. My homie struggling to rizz up a 10 out of 10. Oh my gosh, bro. This is a skill, Twinkie, that I think all homies need to freaking learn, man. Learn how to be great wingman to fight off the freaking 280-pound freaking whale. You know what I'm saying, dude?
So the innocent shall be protected. Legend has it at one of the Moon Gang meetups, somebody was 6 sheets to the wind and was kicking it to this chick. Well, that chick was not exactly a chick.
Oh
and
God.
When it was pointed out to this Moon Ganger, the response was, "I don't care. This is Las Vegas." Okay, you do you, partner. Can't say we didn't warn you.
Oh my gosh, dog. Oh yeah, dude. Why am I not surprised that may be the truth, Twinkie? You know, I was listening to this one cat, and I can concur with this, dude. I mean, I got Tinder. I fool around with Tinder. I'm rocking this mask on Tinder. I mean, it gets me a lot of ladies. You know what I'm saying? Well, I swipe right on the attractive ladies, man. But dude, never in my life have I seen so much freaking Transformers on Tinder, dog. There is a plethora. There is a plethora of Transformers on there, dude. Believe it or not. And I think the reason for that is because, dude, a lot of dudes ain't getting no fucking ass no more, bro. So I think these guys are probably so freaking desperate they're hitting that up. You know what I'm saying? Well, enough about that subject. Let's acknowledge the first person in the chat. And the chat is having a blast with the topics that we are talking about, man. Pushing it to the edge of freaking regulations within YouTube, son. Let's give a shout out to the first Moon Ganger in the chat, man. Freaking Nellyville. Let's do this. Hey, Nellyville, shout out to this cat. This guy hit me up yesterday, man. He had told me that Santal 33 was on freaking discount at Costco. With the exception that I was getting my fucking AC fixed, and I was waiting for the bill on that to see how much it was going to be. Then I was going to buy Santal. Well, when I finally tried to buy it, Twinkie, motherfucking shit was sold out, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no!
Oh yeah, bro. We got Zenith in the chat, man. What's up, monkeys? My homie, Moon Pilled Rational Optics. Moon Pilled, believe it or not, me and Twinkie were gonna hit up Polka Dot. We were gonna do that, but the Super Bowl may be launching soon, so we had to cut the coins by a few, man. And we got my homie here, Scott Connor. Betty says I've never had kimchi, dude. I love kimchi. What about you, Twinksters?
It is delicious and nutritious.
Yeah, I
So
like it.
give
A
it a
lot of my
go.
homies don't.
Well, we were talking about this, right? There's a difference between, let's say, white people hot and ethnic hot.
You're comparing Taco Bell to your conventional freaking taco stand, man. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
I'm just saying, like, be it different, peppers and whatever else. I've had some friends who have had kimchi and just they were ill prepared for the level of spice. And okay, you can certainly make it more mild or more over the top. But yeah, let's say the white bread side of the family may struggle a little more with some of that heat.
Yeah, I do that. I don't blame you, bro. My ex-wife, she was from Ukraine, bro. This woman could not handle freaking pepper, bro. Just regular pepper, bro. Believe it or not. And then I would taste the chow, of course, man. It was good. We'd eat a lot of shuba and freaking, I think she called it borscht. Didn't have a lot of spice to it, man. I can't live without spice, Twinkie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, gotta have a little bit of flavor and a little bit of heat in there.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen to Twinkies, bro. The Mexican food industry ever got a hold of them, bro.
Well, you guys have like wrapped stuffed jalapenos.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we do,
So
man.
yeah. So that's kind of like a Twinkie, but a little spiced up.
Yeah, I concur, man. I concur. Let's move on to the first freaking token that we're gonna hit up. Well, not the token, first coin. I'd love to continue on with the chat. I mean, some people are having a freaking blast. Jesus, and canceled. Nah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. We haven't said anything wrong. All right, first token, man. We're gonna hit up, bro. And this is Bitcoin. Current value of Bitcoin is 48,126. Now, one of the areas that I am noticing as resistance, Twinkie, is here, this yellow line that I have up over here, and that it's at 48,507, man. Now, I did draw a line above it, which is, of course, a psychological level of about 50,000, give or take. Now, a lot of people are expecting Bitcoin to continue running. I think that it's a good thing that we may end up getting rejected, and let me show you why. If we do come up to the upside and we do get shot down, we will effectively have made a little cup and handle. For you cats that don't understand too much about technical analysis, cup and handles usually play out as the way you see it here. But when you end up dipping down, you end up going on a harder rally in an upward fashion. You know what I'm saying? If we look at the 4-hour chart on this bad boy, let me go ahead and remove this freaking thing here. If you look at the 4-hour chart, bro, you can see that we got a little bit of a freaking giga climb, bro. Not much dips. And it effectively threw us into this ascending triangle zone, which is kind of bullish. But I am noticing, especially on the 4-hour triangle, man, that we are trending downwards. On the 4-hour chart, that we are trending in a downward fashion. It wouldn't surprise me if we make contact with this point of about 47.79, which would kind of play out to what I drew here, Twinksters. Know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a healthy retracement, if anything, because that'll just give us more fuel to jump to the upside. Kind of like a spring, man. When you're putting a lot of pressure on the spring to the downside, the more pressure you put on it, it's probably going to end up freaking popping up a little bit stronger and ejecting you higher. Now, I do believe that 50,000, we may end up coming up here and end up coming back, go up, come back, go up, come back, for the reason being that it is a psychological level, man. The last time we even got close to that area was here on about January 11th. And you could tell that we tried reaching that goal of about 50,000, but we only made it up over here to about 49,075, bro. Now, Twinksters, before you and I went live, we were covering some stuff on Bitcoin. I think that'd be pretty damn dope if we show the chat what we were covering. I think that's pretty bullish what we saw, man. what I'm saying?
Sure thing. Yeah. So I'm certainly hoping to see a little bit more of a bounce and a grind on the upward path. I don't want to see Bitcoin go parabolic. I mean, if there are gains to be had, I'll certainly snap them up. But I think the more we have a little bit of time to grind in a relatively steady pace upward, the more we're going to ultimately build some solid support on the way up. I don't want
Yeah.
to just wick up and then come crashing down. That ain't going to do any of us all that much good in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. In other words, the scaffolding. I think that'd be dope. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's ladder that way up. So let me give a little bit of hopium to our friends and audience members on this one. So shout out to the Motley Fool for ultimately putting me onto this idea. I was reading through some of their articles, and let me share my screen out here and we'll talk a little bit more about this. So recently, ARK Invest, Kathy Wood and her team, they put out their annual report. They call it the Big Ideas Report. I encourage everyone here to go look at it, as it tends to cover some different aspects of, let's say, ongoing things in the marketplaces and sectors across a variety of developing areas of industry. So they tend to cover things like healthcare, AI, Bitcoin, smart contracts. It's actually a really cool report and generally aligns, and maybe it's a little bit of my own personal bias, but it tends to intersect with a lot of things I think are going to happen. So they put out this report last week, and there's some real interesting claims and arguments throughout it. Generally speaking, if you have a Bitcoin or you're a Bitcoin investor and you have time in the market, as is often said, not timing the market, then your realized returns over a longer period of time, you generally always come out ahead. They break down some other math throughout it relative to outperforming other asset classes on the last 7 years, last 3 years, compound growth rates, some of the things I've mentioned on your stream and on my stream. The correlation to traditional assets is starting to split away increasingly over time. So that's really exciting for us and those of us in the crypto space. Here's the big one I wanted to talk about today as far as some Bitcoin news. So they're arguing that it can play a really important role in maximizing your risk-adjusted return. So I know we have friends and degens throughout the community, some folks who like to roll the dice on the most insane things as part of their portfolio, some folks who are a bit more playing in tried and true or high probability things. And look, I personally hold a mix of both. I think it's important to have some little pot shots here and there and lottery tickets, as Sami likes to call them. So what I'm going to call your attention to is actually down here on the 2023 optimal portfolio allocation. They're calling it for a 19.4% based on their math and the way they break it down. And they outline everything in this report.
Sure.
Compared to things like 40.7 at gold, commodities, and we've talked about, hey, we're all looking for faster horses to try to improve our lives. So I want you to keep that number in mind. 19.4% is what they're claiming on this one. So again, kudos to the Motley Fool on this one. This is from a slightly older report from 2021, but it's kind of the best number we've got available to us. Global investable assets reach a record 250 trillion. I have a hard time even conceiving of that number.
Man.
So we are going to try to, hopefully I'll punch this in correctly and keep me honest, chat, on this. So if we think about, we've got 250 trillion, right? And bear with me here, there's a lot of zeros, a lot of commas. I got to think about all the different commas on this one. All right, that's 250 bill, $250 trillion, right? Amazing.
Okay.
On this one. And they're saying, hey, optimal investment strategy would have involved 19.4%. So if you put in 19.4%, aka 0.194 for punching it into the calculator, that brings us to about $48.5 trillion allocated to Bitcoin. We know that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin in existence. So your number works out to about 2.3 mil per Bitcoin. Okay, a little bit of degenerate moon math on this one, but 2.3 mil per Bitcoin is kind of current optimal argument, best case condition.
Now, this is not also taking into account, man, Satoshi's freaking coins and the people that have lost their cryptos and their freaking seed phrases, if anything, man. So this is kind of, this is kind of conservative the way you're doing this, bro. This is not taking into account to all the other people, bro. And the rest of the BTC that's going to be forever lost or forever freaking taken into a fucking dead wallet. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And who knows what the future holds, right? They're basically arguing over, the next 5 to 10 years. It's in the realm of possibility. They also break down some alternate cases and the like. Again, it's the ARK Invest Big Ideas report. I'll throw a link in chat or post it up as a comment on your page once we're done our stream.
Twinkie, remember in one of the what was it? One of the crypto mindset courses, bro. DCC and Charlie would always drop this fucking like this video. I think it was Tales of the Dark Side or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. And I wish I could share it here. Of course, it would take too much damn time with the freaking stream. Where some time traveler, he travels to the past and he tells you, which you're supposed to be the current individual that's supposed to help him destroy Bitcoin, because all the Bitcoin holders, even the people just holding small Satoshis, for the people that don't know what Satoshis means, that means small amounts of Bitcoin, that these people end up moving to a place called the Citadel, because Bitcoin in itself becomes so valuable. If you guys get a chance, look up that video on freaking YouTube. I'd have to scout the shit out of it in order to find it so I can drop it for you guys in the chat. But I think it's called Tales of the Dark Side, man. And I thought it was freaking intriguing. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, always interesting. Certainly, I think a rite of passage for anyone coming through the crypto space is to at least give it a listen one time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's continue a little bit with the chats. Let me remove this. Twinkie, we're going to show anything else on the screen?
We can come back to me a little bit. Let me just kill my share here.
Okay, cool. Dude, this is a pretty damn funny comment, and that is the hardest working trucker in America. He says, checking in with Boogie and Twinkie, and he goes on to say, he had made a funny ass comment. Twinkies with Takis, bro. Ay. That's actually, are you familiar with Takis, Twinkie?
I have. I've had Takis. Delicious and nutritious.
I concur, bro. So we also got Moonpill Rational Optics. Who needs to watch the Super Bowl? I'd rather hang out with all the future multimillionaires than watch a bunch of ones that won't be at the next Vegas meetup. Shout out to freaking Moonpill, man. This guy's all about the dinero. Good amounts of knowledge, man. And he is one of my moderators. Now, let's move on to ETH, cats. I think ETH is an important one, and I am holding some ETH. Of course, I would expect majority of you freaking moongangers to hold up some ETH as well. And you have to eat your vegetables, Twinksters, because if you don't, man, your portfolio goes freaking to the downside, bro. It is painful to see it get completely wrecked. Current value of ETH is 2503, and we are currently at about day 41 of its 60-day cycle. Now, I didn't show you Bitcoin's last 60-day cycle, and we'll return to it. I wanted to show you, cats, when is a possibility when we can get another dip. And it does seem that ETH is starting to develop a little bit of an inverted hammer, man. We can't fully tell yet. Right now, it completely looks like a doji, and it does seem like it's turning to the upside. It did compromise this green area, which I did place as an area of support. And that area is at about 24.49 ballpark. Areas that doggone ETH needs to compromise. And the first area it needs to beat, if you look at these four candles and you look at the necklines of those candles, let me go and try that again. This is a first area that we do need to beat, which is about 25.90, give or take. Once we compromise that and we hold the line, the next area we do need to beat is this candle here, which was on January 12th. The high point on that candle was 27.17. Now, I remember last bull cycle, Twinkie, I actually bought ETH at 3,300 bucks, man. And I remember saying, dude, I wish I could get ETH at 26 or 27. And it's amazing that it's currently at that value now, bro. And there's going to be cats looking at freaking Ethereum once it gets up to $5,000 saying, oh, man, I wish I got some freaking ETH at 2,700 bucks. You know what I mean? Now, I do think ETH's going to be here for the long run, man. I do think it's going to be here for the long run because it's Daddy ETH, the one that gave us our DeFi options. Bitcoin doesn't really have much of those options with the exception of what they're doing with ordinals. I don't really understand those too much, man. But we are using this EMA as an area of resistance. If we were to break to the downside, you would have to go back down here to about 24.51, and then you would end up revisiting the top part of this freaking EMA ribbon, which would be about 23.83. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly. Now, what I am noticing here on ETH is that it did seem that we were having these three candles look alike, but this one blew past these past other ones, and I'm not referring to the wicks. I'm talking about the candle bodies, which is bullish. I'm hoping that next week, of course, we do end up printing a little bit more, and maybe the next candle we print for the next week will be bigger than this one, which means that the sellers are still freaking mounting up, and they'll continue rallying to the upside, which would be completely bullish. I am noticing on the EMA ribbon that we're starting to open up. For you cats that don't know, whenever the EMA ribbon opens up and isn't tight like you see it over here, it means you're going to get volatility to whichever side the current value is at. So since we're above it, that means we'll probably get volatility to the upside, and we can compromise this freaking psychological area of 25.95. Of course, the main area that we do have to beat, the main monster for now that we do need to compromise, is 29.37 on the weekly. And that is my data on ETH, son.
So along those lines, I think it's really important to have some pile of ETH available to you. If you don't have any, make sure you got some. You're going to need it for some gas fees. It's going to be really sad. You're going to be really upset when you got to unstake something like Hex or some of these other different types of moves and gas is through the roof. You're going to wish you had some cheap ETH. Yeah, I know there are some updates and upgrades and things coming to the network that we're all patiently awaiting. We don't know when, well, we don't necessarily fully know when they'll get here and what the long-term impacts of all those solutions will be. Historically, yeah, I remember having transactions potentially in the hundreds of dollars just trying to move certain amounts. And then all of a sudden it becomes financially unviable to make some of these smaller moves. Good news is there's new stuff like Pulse Chain and other solutions, Phantom, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. But if you got to do stuff on the main Ethereum network, it's not a bad idea to periodically have a drip feed or snap up just a little bit of extra ETH here and there to keep it on the sidelines for if and when you're going to need to move stuff around. You're going to wish you had cheap ETH for gas.
And talking about drip, man, it would not be for you cats. This is a little fucking curveball I'm throwing to the audience. A good idea or a good rule of thumb would to be at least every 3 weeks or every month, buy about $50 worth of ETH regardless of price and keep it in a side wallet solely just for the purpose of paying for gas fees. I think that would help us a lot. Now, Twinkie, I remember one of the most painful things being a noob in the crypto space, bro, especially during a bull run, learning how to use crypto, bro, and seeing the $106, $120, $60 fees, bro, just to move one ETH from wallet A to wallet B, bro. That is extremely discouraging, dude. So hence why I think this idea that you mentioned about having a little drip feed for ETH is not a bad idea, man. So food for thought, cats. You may want to allocate a little bit in your every dollar app or in your budgeting tool, Moon Rational Optics. You know what I'm talking about, bro. Allocating $50, $60, $70, bro, every month into ETH just for the sole purpose of paying for those gas fees. And you'd be surprised, Mixers, I'm sure you know this, the value of that ETH will climb along with the freaking side freaking drip that you have, man. Not to mention, if you completely forget about that wallet, bro, and then you're at the top of the freaking bull run, oh my gosh, bro, you'll feel so good freaking knowing that it was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do a weekly small purchase every week for ETH. It's like 25 to $50 every week just to set some aside just in case. And, you know, it's 2024. We've got a few different ways we can move ETH around these days. Potentially, you can transfer it over, let's say, a Polygon network, Matic network, Optimism, Arbitrum, and like. So there are ways to help reduce the total impact on that. Of course, you somehow will need to get it back to mainnet many times in order to the main Ethereum network to be able to make certain moves on that front. But potentially can save you a hop or two, or maybe not. A little bit of game planning and thinking about where do I want my ETH to ultimately end up can save you a solid chunk of change over the long haul. So again, not saying my way is the only way or the right way. I definitely make a small purchase every week just for that very reason.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And talking about purchases, man, and keeping side wallets, I think one of the cool things, if you cats haven't done this, of course, I don't recommend you put a lot of funds on this, but look at the Rabby wallet, man. It's RABBI, man. And you could find, if you can simply just input the addresses of your current freaking MetaMask or your Exodus wallets. You could just input it in there and you'll see exactly what you have in that wallet. And dude, you'll even find some freaking tokens you didn't know you had. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do know, Twinksters, you use a different one, right? It's not the Rabby one. That's one I rock.
Yeah. My primary wallets, honestly, a lot of MetaMask. I got some for cold storage. I'm phasing out some ledgers. I've been in the process of moving over to Trezor and getting all my cold storage converted over to Trezor.
Yeah, I've been looking at the Engrave, bro. I want to get one of those bad boys, dude. But they're like $500, $600, dude. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a must-have, especially the way the value of our coins are going up over time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely right. And look, that I'm not saying people aren't putting to them what isn't a personally significant amount of money, right? But imagine that blows up and does a 10x, 20x, 30x, 50x, or something crazy on some of those tokens. You're going to be really salty if you can't get to it, or it's all in one wallet, and God forbid you lose the seed phrase to that one wallet that has everything on it. So you definitely want to ensure you are not in a position where you are zeroed out entirely by one mistake.
I concur 110%. All right, cats, let's move on to something a little bit more fun. I know everybody wants to see frickin' Pulse Chain. And then Pulse Chain, after we hit up Pulse Chain, we'll hit up a little bit of optimism. I know Twinkster's got some information prepped for optimism. He was searching the web last night and he dropped some freaking alpha on this shit, man. Know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, here is the Pulse Chain chart. Twinksters, can you see this?
Sure can. Looks very colorful.
Hi, man. We almost ended up doing a double bottom on this. Some fucking crypto cats will actually consider this a double bottom. For you cats that don't know, this is what a double bottom looks like. We were here up the upside, we came down, we went back up, came back down, and now it seems that we're shooting up. Now, I don't really count this as a double bottom, kind of how like freaking TA on chain and Miguel and Charlie, they don't count a freaking inverse head and shoulders unless things aren't even exactly. And you could see that it does form a little bit of a W formation. And if this was a double bottom, that means we would rally to the upside. Next area we do need to compromise, of course, is this Fibonacci retracement line of 0.23. It is red in color, and that value is currently at about 4 zeros and a 1 4. Now, if we manage to break above this and hold in about 2 hours or so, that means that we're probably going to trend within here to about 4 zeros and a 1 or 3 zeros and a 1 5. Once we get above these areas and we hold for about a week, we can probably maintain that value. I think there was this one cat, man, and we're not going to cover Hex today, but I did want to mention this. He had mentioned that I think it was Rackham, bro. He had sold a lot of his eHex over to freaking BankX, or not sold it, but he did some type of sacrifice, and instead he got the BankX coin. Now, that eHex is freaking starting to rally. The BankX people are starting to dump a little bit of the eHex price. I'm hoping that is happening because I do want to accumulate a little bit more eHex. Pulse Chain is associated to Hex. Of course, eHex is on the Ethereum side. So food for thought, cats. Keep your eyes on eHex and also Pulse Chain. Now, once we compromise this area and we do pull back, where could we drop to? Now, currently, it seems that we're about... It seems that about day 14 was the area of the 20-day cycle low for Pulse Chain. If we grab this measuring tool over here and we push forward, that'll put us at about day 4. So the next time we may end up seeing a dump on Pulse Chain may be around February 21st or possibly all the way to about day 21. And that would be February 28th, give or take. That may be the next time we see Pulse Chain come to the downside, and it may end up being a higher low. You know what I'm saying? If we do activate the moving averages, we could see that all moving averages are way below, and we are using support resistance and Fibonacci to see where the current value is at. Now, if we look at prior history to Pulse Chain or areas that we would be fighting, areas that we do need to compromise, it would be this area here, and it seems that we're way above it. So if we look further back, next area we do need to compromise. Let me go ahead and freaking erase this shit. Would be around this top right here, and that value is at about 3 zeros and a 1496. So give or take, ballpark, about 3 zeros and a 1 5. I think that'll be a psychological area, Twinksters. Know what I mean?
Yep. Certainly, we were talking a little bit last night in preparation for tonight's stream. We were just chatting about how much pulse do we have and the like, and I'm pretty sure the only answer that's correct is not enough.
Yeah, I concur, man. I concur. I mean, I am happy with my pulse bag, bro. But if I could snap my fingers, I'd probably get a little bit more. I wish I would have gotten more pulsex, if anything, and a little bit more eHex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, hey, man, we can work in OTC trade once we get off stream. Anyway,
yeah, I concur. I concur, man.
Can you quickly snatch that comment from Betty? There's a question about how high do we think the crypto market cap can get to this cycle? And
Yeah,
I'm just gonna I'm going to pull just a number out of thin air on this one. So I've done a really rudimentary fib extension on this myself, just kind of ballpark some things. I think conservatively, I'm going to say my lower target would be around we'll say 6 trillion, I think, on the lower end of things. I was looking for higher end 10 trillion plus on the total market cap for crypto. If we're doing 10 trillion plus, I think, it's going to be a very different Moon Gang meetup in, the not terribly distant future. But yeah, I'd say absolute lower I'm looking for is 5. If we don't crack a 5, then I will be a little disappointed, to be entirely honest.
Yeah, man. I think it's completely possible if we go up to 6 trillion. We were trying to drop Fibonacci retracements on it utilizing Elliott wave. The Elliott waves weren't playing out so much. I mean, the numbers, if I were to utilize Elliott waves on the others freaking chart you had handed me, bro, dude, would take us to this super high retarded amount, man, in value. So I don't think Elliott waves would play very good with that. But I think you're correct, man. I think the Fibonacci retracement would probably be the best option as to where it may go. Now, mind you, Betty, this is all speculation, by the way, man. We cannot take into account that there could be some black swan events occurring around the world. Of course, you see all that shit going on with Trump, with him trying to be indicted. You see what's going on here in the Texas border and the beef the Texas soldiers are having with the feds. You see the shit going on with Ukraine and freaking Russia, man. It's the year of the dragon, homie. It may be that China goes after Taiwan, dude. Who knows? Who knows, my friend?
So I got let's say a quick comment that's somewhat relevant to today. So we're in 2024, right? 2020. Well, it's kind of, happening circa the 2020 sequence. Well, I'd like to point out 2020 Super Bowl was the 49ers versus the Chiefs. It was an election year, right? So as we're kind of looking ahead, what else kind of came right around the corner? Black Swan event, right? So, hey, 2024, it's an election year. It's the 49ers and the Chiefs. Just saying, there may be a Black Swan event in the wings.
Who do you got winning this tonight Super Bowl, Twinkie? I'm more of a boxing guy, bro. I'm not big time into freaking the Super Bowl or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not a sports ball guy either. So here is my prediction. Taylor Swift wins and America loses.
Yeah, we got Russ Dale, Rat Demon here. He says, who knows what kind of Black Swan event may happen with all the stuff that's going down. I concur, man. I concur. I mean, I feel it. I'm sure the rest of America feels it, bro. I'm saying, so a Black Swan event could be inbound. Let's hit up some optimism, bro. And Twinksters, you want to hit up your data first before I show the chart on this?
Sure. Let's as we were kind of poking around. 1 second here, just muting some stuff, and let me share my screen.
Then it says we glitched and hit a time loop where 2024 is starting to repeat of the last 4 years, bro.
Yeah, so hopefully I get another opportunity to kind of make some of those gains that appeared in 21, right? Late 21, early 22.
Yeah, I concur, dude. I concur.
All right, you want to throw me up on screen? Yeah, let's kind of speak to this at a very high level. Cool. All right, so this one kind of caught my attention the other day as we were chatting about some material we wanted to prep for the stream. Optimism going to pause ETH withdrawals for 1 hour next week to test their incident response system. Heads up, this is going to happen on February 15th. That is this coming Thursday, or at least it's scheduled for Thursday. So the article goes into this, and this one particularly glosses over a few things. Here's the really abridged version of it and what they're going to do. They are rolling out some updates to the contract. It's basically, they have this thing called a super chain config contract. It's initially going to be super lightweight, but they're going to have the ability to expand it over time and integrate it into what they've been calling their super chain. So we think of Optimism as an L2, but what they're really doing is setting up what they're calling a super chain and the ability to connect any Optimism-based L2 back to that network. What they're effectively doing, though, is giving themselves, or giving the Optimism chain, the ability to have a security event and stop withdrawals and tokens and NFTs, not just for Optimism, but for any Optimism-based chain that chooses to opt in, like Base or Zora or some of these other L2s that are derived from Optimism tech. So they're just testing the rollout on the 15th and rolling out the initial super chain config contract. Right now, just to be entirely fair and transparent on this, they do have the ability to pause specifically things related to Ethereum withdrawals, but this is going to be far more reaching than that. I'm certainly encouraging the community to keep their eyes and ears open on this one, since it seems like they've got a giant pause button and the ability to effectively have a kill switch on a number of things.
So Twinksters, let's say I don't know, man, like Visa and MasterCard, they shut down Andrew Tate's freaking capability of utilizing their services. Basically, Optimism, if they know your address, they can go ahead and do the same if this does come into effect.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out how it works on a raw address basis. On the surface, it's going to be stopping the movement of tokens and NFTs. We don't like your NFT. We don't like the, not to pick on them. We don't like the Rational Optics NFT.
Yeah.
Stop it from moving.
Yeah, the tacos and Twinkies, freaking tacos and kimchi, freaking NFTs, bro. Let's say they don't like those, they can go ahead and put a stop to it if they find it offensive. Of course, we got to see what the test phase entails.
Yep. So the big thing here is big takeaways. Optimism movement is going to be paused for a little bit on the 15th as they're rolling this out. Keep your eyes peeled for, again, it's called the Super Chain Config contract. It's going to be light and minimalistic when they first load it up, but they've already said they're planning on giving it additional capabilities once it's integrated into what they're calling their super chain.
Yeah, and a Rat Demon made a comment here. What NFTs banned? No, we're not saying that all NFTs will be banned, Demon. We're just mentioning that if the Optimism people don't like what you're posting up, bro, they can go ahead and select your address and stop your shit. Of course, we got to see what this entails. We got to see what this test they're going to do entails first.
Right. Or the government comes in and puts the screws to them, right? Or
yeah.
Whatever justification they may potentially want to use.
Yeah, I concur, man. That's wow, man. And a lot of people didn't know this shit about Optimism, bro. Of course, I mean, not everybody has time to do a deep dive on this shit. You know what I mean? And
yep.
Speaking of deep dives, let's hit up the Optimism chart, bro. Let's see what OP entails. I do hold a little bit of OP. I did do a little bit of Zen shit on OP, if anything. And what I am seeing on OP right now, we are at about day 19 of its 20-day cycle. And it does seem like it's trending to the upside. If I grab this freaking trend-based tool and I pull it up here, it does seem like it's going to keep respecting that. So it may mean that we can go up to a day 23 or a day 24. Day 23 will probably be February 16th, where we may see a higher low. If the momentum continues, it would not surprise me that we compromise this area of 78.60 on the Fibonacci retracement. And it's funny, if you look at this blue line here, it lines up with these three candles on this side. So you could say that the Fibonacci is playing out correctly, because you can see it's making contact at that area. Now, the area that we do need to compromise, and this will be the most bullish Optimism has ever been, would be this 100% on the Fibonacci retracement, and that value is exactly at about $4.28. And currently we're at $3.52. I do remember, Twinksters, Miguel and Charlie talking about freaking buying Optimism around this area over here, bro. And I think that value was at about $1.45, give or take, man. That would have been a fabulous area to get it at. We dipped down a little bit more, and I think that's the lowest. No, that's not the lowest. It would be around this area. But nevertheless, Optimism does seem like it's going to do pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Let's activate.
I think so.
Yeah.
Also they got that Ethereum upgrade, the Denkun upgrade, which incorporates EIP 4844, scheduled for March. So roughly within a month, we're going to get effectively what I'm going to call the L2 upgrade to ETH.
Yeah. So that may mean, dude, that the fees are going to be even cheaper on Optimism. As they are, they're pretty damn affordable. I guess they want to make sure it stays that way, and it's prepped for the upcoming bull run, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Now, in the EMA ribbon, I am noticing that the EMA ribbon is tightening up a little bit. So that means there may not be a lot of volatility. Again, we do have to compromise this area of about 78.60, and that would put us at about $3.72. If we activate the other moving averages, they are all below. They're nowhere close to where we're at right now. And let me turn off the EMA ribbon and see how it's doing with the freaking Bollinger Bands. If you look at the Bollinger Bands, we're already blowing into the freaking red area. Usually, Twinksters, whenever I see the freaking candle even make contact a little bit with the white area on the Bollinger Bands, that means we are extremely overheated. So we still got a little bit more room to run to that point, and if I take this measuring tool to where we're at right now to there, you're talking about 11%. So give or take, we do have about 11% to run. That's the room we do have to run to the upside before we start retracing back. Food for thought. And let me pull this sucker back. Now, since we're talking about optimism, we're going to go ahead and move on to Oath. One of the reasons we're going to mention Oath is for the reason being that it is mostly on the OP chain. It's not so much on the Phantom chain. Now, mind you, monkeys, we were going to throw in a little bit of Phantom, but we do know it is a bull run, not a bull run, a Super Bowl Sunday. So we couldn't cover the whole freaking spectrum of freaking coins we usually like to cover. So let's move on.
Boogie, I got a quick comment on the whole Super Bowl thing. So I don't know if anyone's noticing this. It's been pretty quiet this year relative to crypto stuff for the Super Bowl. So I was flipping around.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would imagine that there'd be freaking some type of Super Bowl commercials, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got like the ETFs and the like, and then it's just been pretty quiet. If you can give me a quick screen share here, brother, I'll just quickly reference this one.
Roger that.
So again, quiet year over for the Super Bowl, which I know that show is about to start up here very shortly. We appreciate everyone's time this afternoon and evening. Long story short here is that you kind of flip through. It's, we're like what, 1.7, 1.8 trill, I think, in market cap today. So why is it so quiet this go around? Bitcoin numbers go up, ETFs and the like. So the consensus here from a number of CEOs and the folks checking in, they're not taking out Super Bowl ads. They believe the money spent can be, or that they would spend on a Super Bowl ad could be better utilized and referenced elsewhere to help build out the crypto market space and some of the business elements.
Bullshit. I think fucking doggone Gary Gensler has something to do with this shit, man. I'm saying.
Yeah, they're scared. Like as I recall, Kraken settled and Coinbase told them to kick rocks. So I think Kraken's been a little whipped on this one. But it was very interesting to see that effectively it's a light year for any sort of crypto related ad. The only quick tangent comment I had that was interestingly NFTs of Tom Brady sold for 40 grand.
What the frick, dog?
Yeah, recently. I mean, okay, I get it. Arguably
promoted by Joe Montana. Is that correct?
Yeah, so not necessarily directly Joe and John, but so the NFL's got their NFTs through Dapper Labs. And they've been having Joe Montana, John Elway pitch some of these NFTs on there. So while there's not necessarily a whole lot of direct news on it, I just wanted to call out, hey, NFT of Tom Brady was recently sold for 40 grand. So they're not totally dead. Although I would like to think he gets a residual because just to take a quick stroll down memory lane, if you think about what's happened over the last few years for this, we watched FTX implode, Celsius implode, Three Arrows Capital, Genesis, BlockFi. I'm sure I'm drawing blanks and forgetting a few on that front. And as I recall, the rumor mill on the street was Mr. Brady lost 30 mil in FTX.
30 mil, dude. That's a shitload, homie.
Yeah, 40 grand NFT, every little bit helps.
Yeah, man. Fucking now let's see. We got fucking Agent J. Where them KimChi tacos at? We were mentioning you early, dog. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome aboard, Agent J. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro. Now when it comes to freaking NFTs, bro, I did see the Trump NFTs go pretty damn hot. I missed them by a few, bro. And I think that the Trump NFTs will do fabulous. Now, we do know that in the United States, the most fucking celebrated sport, of course, is the NFL, football. So holding any of these NFTs, bro, it's pretty much a guaranteed win-win. There's some hardcore freaking fans, bro, that will pay top dollar for freaking their favorite players' freaking memorabilia, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. We've seen the success of things like the UFC Strike series, NBA. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that they can do with NFTs, and I think it's going to continue to be an evolving space. I know we're talking off camera and seen some traffic recently about effectively fractionalized NFTs, which I need to spend more time researching, but all very interesting. If as NFTs are, aside from potentially being collectibles, the ability to own a fraction of like a work of art on chain, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I could tell, man, if anything, bro. Now, I wouldn't be surprised, man, we get a lot. I mean, Disney was working a lot with Polygon, bro. Optimism, I don't think I've heard of any Optimism NFTs. There is, and probably the same thing with Arbitrum, bro. I do think that Polygon, of course, Polygon's not really a layer 2, bro. I mean, But I do think that freaking optimism will probably be the premier layer too. When it,
On current trend, yeah,
yeah,
I can see that argument. For the Premier, yes. And again, ultimately, I think it's just going to be like multi-chain, multi-layer type solutions in the future. Maybe not this cycle, but it's going to be inevitable where you're going to have, doesn't matter which L1 or L2 or abstraction layer you're connecting on, you're going to need the ability to ultimately integrate and communicate with them all directly
yeah,
or
yeah.
potentially indirectly through additional layers. Anyway, we got a little bit detoured on there. We were about to talk about Oath before I drag us into some sports ball
No, man,
talk.
that's some intriguing shit, bro. Now, what would be dope, man? A lot of these freaking NFTs, bro, they had some utility. If for example, Tom Brady or John Elway, man, or Joe Montana, they provided some utility for those NFTs, bro. That would be even make it a little bit more fire, man. Know what I'm saying? Twinksters,
Yeah,
I
I
see that
remember.
you're pulling something else up. You want me to share this on the screen?
No, not yet. We'll save that one for a potentially later token if needed on that one. So, relative to the Trump NFTs, I also wouldn't be surprised to see another wave of Trump NFTs as we get closer and closer to the election.
Yeah, I think those are going to do pretty damn well, bro. I think especially people who got the OG Trump NFTs. I'm just hoping the next wave that you're talking about, Twinkie, is launched soon before the Ethereum gas fees go retarded, man. Know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on that one. Anyway, I think you wanted to get to the Oath chart. I got a little background data relative to Oath that we can kind of talk through as you pull up that
Sure.
chart. So, while that's coming up, recently I mentioned this on my stream as well as on your stream previously and a few other streams. The Aurelius solution for collateralized loans on the Mantle L2 was recently launched. It's powered on the back end by a bunch of Oath tech. To me, it looks like increasingly the Oath Foundation is looking to license out their tech stack for additional residuals, kind of like a franchise model. Like we'll
Yeah.
bootstrap you, get you up off the ground way faster, and like. So I was skimming through some comments Beavis had made over the last few days on some of these different discords, and he said that Oath is evolving into this DeFi infrastructure project, so it'll have exposure to all of the different networks, plural, that they are building on. And in what they are effectively calling the Oath chapter, which is like key partner projects, the chapter deployments are planned to accelerate as they improve their internal business procedures and rollouts and the planning and execution thereof. So they're saying the game plan here is it will allow the Oath Foundation and the Oath solutions to ultimately be successful wherever they're going without Oath just getting farmed and dumped into oblivion. The one thing they really want to focus on is with these different tech stacks and rollouts is they want to continue to see an increase in demand for Oath. So in a little bit of Oath related token news, they haven't done the Aurelius airdrop yet. If they made a snapshot, they're keeping it really quiet. It's possible if this is something of interest to you, you might have opportunity to take a position. As they're continuing to spin up more chapters, Beavis directly stated in one of the discords that the plan is individual chapter tokens, aka that partnership token, that partnership franchise type stack, will issue those chapter tokens. So in the case of Aurelius, we're going to get some sort of Aurelius token back to the bonded Oath stakers in what Beavis called significant size. Revenue will be shared, direct quote. Each will have their own token and incentives and fee distribution. So to me, the play here is if this is something of interest and you believe in Beavis and the Byte Masons team and the Oath solution, go ahead, grab some. It's a long-term hold because it's looking like a long-term residual revenue type play, as well as getting airdrops kicked back to bonded Oath stakers. So as they spin up more chapters, look, okay, I hope Aurelius is wildly successful. What's it going to look like when Oath has 10 chapters online, 20 chapters online? You're telling me all 10 or 20 are going to be misses? Highly unlikely. That cruise strikes me as really smart. I'm sure they're going to have some absolute standout winners. So I'm very confident in that team and the things they have achieved so far. I continue to drip feed in on the Oath position over there, and I hope to have wild gains and cool airdrops in the future.
Now, I remember Richard, bro, Richard Hart, when we were stacking for the PulseX. I think dude, I was still figuring out Shiba Inu, bro, when the Pulse Chain sacrifice is going on. So I didn't really fully understand, and I didn't get to ape into the Pulse Chain sacrifice. But I remember the PulseX sacrifice. Richard did mention that every dollar equaled a point or so, give or take, for everything sacrificed. So if you sacrificed $10 worth of hex, that was 10 points that you were going to get in PulseX or something like that. Has Beavis made any mention as to the point system, if there's going to be any point system in the
Not
Aurelius airdrop, depending on how you're participating with bonded oath with Ethereum and oath that you put into beats.fi.
Yeah, not as of yet. Can you pull up that comment from Nellyville?
Sure.
Nellyville, you can. I don't remember if I covered it on one of my streams or Boogie's streams. Here's the really short, sweet version, and you can hit me up on a separate chat. You know how to find me. I would personally pull it and bridge it over using Squid Router to get it over to the Optimism network. And then from there, if you want to bond it and stake it, you can do that on Ethos Reserve. They'll take that. Just go to Ethos Reserve, and it'll have all the links to do everything on that front. Personally, I would. This really all the liquidity for Oath currently has moved over to Optimism, so it's real easy. Squid Router for the bridge it over to from Oath Phantom to Oath Optimism, and then you can build bonded Oath, stake it out there, and qualify for future airdrops and residuals.
Roger that, man. Now the way I bridged my stuff over, I use spooky.fi, bro. That's how I bridged, and I think it's on Axelar, bro. I bridged over.
Yeah, Squid's also powered by Axelar, so
yeah, so that would make sense.
So there you go. You got two different ways to ultimately bridging it over. Boogie's done it through Spooky. I did it through Squid Router. Either one should do you right.
Yeah. Now, Nellyville, food for thought, homie. When I decided to come back into Oath, I took my profits on Ink Token. Of course, you cats have seen how Ink Token has rallied. I decided to distribute it into a different ecosystem and decided to go into the Oath ecosystem. And when I did that, I noticed that I couldn't buy freaking a bunch of Oath utilizing spooky.fi or Beats because there wasn't enough liquidity. So the research I did into it, I found out that the best place to get it would be to bridge it over in Optimism because the majority of the liquidity is over on OP side. Now, if you do want to buy a little bit more Oath, bro, I recommend you use Velodrome. Look at my prior stream. I explain how to do that. But please, man, use a damn condom wallet, homie, because that's what I did. I wouldn't use my regular wallet on Velodrome. I don't think it's been tested for a long period of time, if anything. You know what I'm saying? So, food for thought, Nellyville. You wanted me to share this, Twinksters?
Yeah, just real quick. Just a quick offshoot of some of the things we've talked about. So I know in some of the chats and some of the streams we were talking about some while ago, in Ink Token in particular, back when we were talking about it, you had the opportunity to get a squid position for around 110, 100 odd bucks, give or take. Squid position now costs you 727. So if you're kind of getting in that time frame, potentially you're sitting on a nice like 5 to approaching 7x on your capital on that front.
Yeah. No, keep that chart up, Twinkie. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of a side quest, if anything. You and I were talking last night, man. We're talking about taking some profits and how much we intend to keep ballpark if we do decide to freaking sell all of our Pulse Chain or our PulseX. And we came into the number into the number about 5% to 10% to 15%. So I had made a comment. I had said, well, whatever your bag is, bro, instead of freaking taking 10% of your current bag, why not buy it now? So food for thought, monkeys, that may be an option. And you may want to think about that now, man. Let's say you have a shitload of Hex and you want to keep 10% of your bag, 15% of your bag, 5% of your bag. You may want to DCA now while it's cheap. DCA into that bag, put it into a side wallet, forget about that wallet. That way, when it comes time to the bull run, you can completely sell your regular bag of whatever it is you're freaking holding on to.
Right. You get to make that informed decision now. So based on that conversation was one of Boogie's big brain moments. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do that right friggin' now. That number, I'm just going to take some of the capital I have set aside and I'm just going to go buy and set aside that amount right this instant. So yeah, not financial advice, but personally, yeah, I did. I went and pulled that trigger immediately. Yeah,
man. That's so food for thought, cats. You may want to do that. I guess maybe I'll cut that up into a little freaking gem, bro. Cut it up and share it with you cats. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to drop this, Twinksters. But if you guys want to look at this a little bit closer, if you guys are looking at this on your phone, go ahead and screenshot your phone and you'll see what your position is in Ink Token. You want to scroll up a little bit more, Twinksters?
Sure. It is gopulse.com/leagues is what you're looking for. Yep.
So you cats, go for it.
Yeah. So you can if you go to gopulse.com, you can go to stats and just jump down here to leagues and you can find it that way, or just hard memorize it, gopulse.com/leagues.
Yeah. Or if you're lazy, you can screenshot your phone right now and just freaking save it in your freaking notes. That's what I do.
Watch the replay.
Yeah, watch it. By the way, cats, make sure you guys like the freaking video, share the video. I did I did highlight Twinkie's name on this. Go ahead and follow Mr. Twinksters. This guy has badass fucking fundamental analysis. So food for thought, monkeys. Let's move on to the fragrance of the day. Nellyville, I know you're waiting for this shit. I know you're waiting for this shit, son. And today we have Club de Nuit, freaking Parfum Intense Man, limited edition, partridge in a pear tree. I'm joking on the partridge in a pear tree, bro. It's just they added so much to the freaking name of the fragrance. Now, this is a Creed Aventus fucking clone. I can argue this point. If it was not in this bottle and it was not named Armave, bro, I could have given this a higher score. I give this about an 8.2, but mentally, because I know it's a clone of Creed Aventus, I can't give it that high of a score because it is not the OG originator of Creed Aventus. This is a great fragrance. I was rocking this today. On average, it lasted me about 5 hours on skin, and it runs for about $64, give or take. So let me go and share this in the chat for you monkeys. Club de Nuit is some good shit. Not that I'm trying to be freaking low budget, but we are DCAing into the market right now instead of buying brand new fragrances, because I would rather have you cats buy freaking a $67 fragrance, put the rest of the money up into some freaking optimism, a little bit of freaking oath, maybe some pulse chain, maybe a little bit of e-hex, whatever tickles your pickle. So yeah, man, Club de Nuit, limited edition. This one's a good one, man. Food for thought. Food for freaking thought. Twinkie, you got something up? You want me to share this shit?
Yeah, we can just briefly talk about Kronos, Crow Token. I know some folks in the community are a fan of it. So this is from last month, and they announced that they're going to be launching a public ZK EVM testnet using ZK Syncs, ZK Stack Tech. All right, there's a lot of ZKs in there. Let me try to quickly.
ZK.
Yeah. So my recollection is originally the Crow token was, I want to say, co-developed as part of a partnership for Crypto.com to support like mobile payments. Don't hold me to it. I don't hold a position in it. I just remember reading it at the time. Anyway, I think that was the original like first solution they came forward with. And I believe they've got something like 80 million claimed unique users or like, so pretty large, substantial audience on that. I know later on they built out an EVM compatible chain. So what is this most recent announcement? As I know a lot of people like to play Crow for assorted trades to cultivate their crypto and take those gains into other things. So they're working on this ZK EVM for additional L2. My understanding is currently that they are going to roll this out potentially to mainnet sometime between May and July of this year. So that would basically leave them with effectively 3 separate chains. The OG original one.
That's ERC20 based, the original one, I think. Yeah.
I know that I think it was ERC based on the Cosmos SDK. So it was I think they originally built on Cosmos, and they added a layer 2 component for that. And now they've got this ZK EVM, which is, they're calling it a sister chain in so many words. So they want to use it to ultimately broaden their base and make it easier to move liquidity back and forth between Ethereum and their Kronos Cosmos based chains. Basically, to me, it looks like they're trying to expand out and not shut off or need to find a way to necessarily break away from anything they have today. So look forward to seeing that on, I think they were saying May to July in here. And this is directly from their blog on there. So blog.kronos.org. The CEO or head of the team was saying, like, unquestionably, the future is going to undeniably be a multi-chain, multi-solution future, multi-architecture, and will be a combination of proprietary and trusted third-party type technologies. Again, I've worked in the diagnostics field doing a lot of this. I know Boogie and I were up late last night talking just about how different data elements can move around and how do you translate it from Spanish to English. Well, what if I put down all my data on a form in Spanish? How do I translate into a form in English? What if you're writing everything from the left, and over in my culture, we write everything from the right? So just figuring this stuff out is going to be a huge part of what the multi-chain future entails.
Yeah. Now, Twinksters, I do believe, in my opinion, I do believe, bro, that aside from Coinbase, dude, I do think that Crypto.com is probably going to be one of the more successful exchanges here in the United States. It did survive the last bear run, bro. And it did very well surviving the last bear run. But if I do buy Crow token, I would not be buying it on their exchange. Mind you, I haven't really fucking dealt with their exchange in a while, but I do remember that the fees were significantly high, bro. getting anything off the exchange. And then you have to whitelist your address, wait 48 hours before you can move anything from point A to point B. I'd rather buy that shit on Coinbase, bro, and then just move it off to my wallet, if anything. Now, since we are talking about a little bit about Kronos or crypto.com, if Richard Hart, in my opinion, if Richard Hart does win his case and the case gets dropped in October, bro, let's say he doesn't win it, but the case gets dropped because the charges are stupid, and he can prove that. I think crypto.com will probably be the first exchange in the West to probably host Hex or Pulse Chain, in my opinion, because they're the ones that hold most tokens in the West than any other exchange in the West. Food for thought. You know what I'm saying? So,
Makes
with
sense.
that stated, you wanted to mention something, Twink? Go for it.
No, I was gonna say, makes a lot of sense on that front. I look forward to seeing who's going to be the first. I think obviously everyone's kind of sitting around waiting for the SEC information to play out with Richard.
Yeah, I concur, man. I concur. Now, Twink,
quick comment on final one on like the Kronos chain. They are like the 15th biggest chain by total value locked. I think they're literally right behind Cardano as of this morning. So 15th ranked chain. So it's not like they're.
Can you pull up that data, Twinkie, while I pull up the chart?
Yeah, sure. Let me hop back over to that, and I'll share that out here for in a second.
I think that's pretty interesting data, man. I think it'd be cool to the audience could see that shit. While you're pulling that up, I'll be hitting up the freaking Crow token as far as how it looks on a Fibonacci, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
You got it.
Now, monkeys, I'm sure you guys can see the value of Crow right now is at about 8 cents, 8.5 cents, give or take, ballpark. What I am noticing here on the weekly, and I just noticed this right now. I was prepping this freaking this chart for you guys early today, but I did notice this here. Now, if you grab this freaking drawing tool, this is on the weekly, by the way, and the weekly tends to be stronger than the daily. If we pull to the upside, and the way you see it now, and we come down, that looks a little bit like a freaking bullfrag or a bullish pennant, and may mean that we rally to the upside. And that's what I'm picturing or what I'm getting on the weekly, if anything. So food for thought. A lot of people have not been talking about Crow. Crow is at a great price of about 8.5 pennies. Last bull run, I got Crow at about 16 cents, and it ran all the way up, if we look at our history, to about 95 cents, give or take. So food for thought, monkeys. Crow has a lot of capabilities to run to the upside. If we go to the daily chart, Crow is on the green portion of the Fibonacci, and it looks like it's bouncing around in that area. And the value, again, is 8.5 cents. It does seem like it may consolidate there. If we do close in about an hour and 10 minutes, it may mean that we'll hold above that level or that area. Next area that we do need to compromise is this 61.80% on the Fibonacci, and that would put us effectively at about 9.5 cents. Now, overall, as you guys can see on this whole Fibonacci retracement, the main area or the main boss we got to beat is this average price of about 12 cents, which I think is still at a damn good price. And if you guys look at this chart, I had bought here back in the day around September 21st of 2021, September 26th, and its value was at about, I think it was about 17 or 16 cents ballpark. I don't know if their indigo cards or their jade cards or if their rose gold cards are still rewarding the same amount that they did last bull run. I'm hoping they crank it up, incentivize people to get it. Now, mind you, if you guys do hold a good amount of freaking Crow and you decide to stake it and utilize one of these cards, the percentage points that you get on it are pretty damn decent, man. So food for thought, monkeys. Food for freaking thought. You know what I'm saying? Back to you, Twinksters. Let me go and
okay. Yeah. So let me close out my portion of the data set today. So one of my favorite tools to do as I'm doing some research and just trying to figure out how things are moving and the like, the leopard spots work out very well for you, brother.
Aye, bro. Aye, Twinkie.
So the coming back around to this DeFi Llama, one of my favorite.
Man, I'm gonna have to wear normal shirts, bro.
Yeah, not gonna make it. Got to wear normal shirts. It didn't work out. So DeFi Llama. Yeah, it's all good, brother. DeFi Llama, one of my favorite sites to check in as I'm doing some basic background research and just trying to figure out how things might be moving, see if this is like a realistic chain, a dead chain, any other number of situations. So if I'm on the DeFi Llama main page, I can run down here to chains, total value locked, all chains. We see Ethereum's killing it. Then you got Tron, and then we start moving down the line from there. So in this particular case, I can sort by some different criteria. I'm going to sort by TVL. Looks like it's already defaulted to that. If I scroll down here, you can see there's Kronos with Crow at number 15, 339. Yeah, again, still just
wow.
like right behind Cardano, right behind Cardano, not terribly far off from base, and actually not outrageously far off from Pulse Chain. So as things heat up in the bull market, expect to see some moves, and certainly I would anticipate seeing some shuffling of the order in the chains.
Yeah, I concur, man.
DeFi Llama, check it out. Let's just quickly close this one out. I'm going to hop over to the Chrono solution here. You can see there's some historic performance on TVL. Obviously, in aspects of 22, in earlier 21, we had some assorted run-ups. Different tokens run at different times. You can see it's been much more muted over the last year or so. Again, to no surprise in the grand scheme of things. And then for DeFi Llama, they've got all these different solutions, categories, tokens, protocols listed. You can drill down into different revenues, averages, 7-day changes. One of my favorite tools as I'm doing some different background research, definitely one of my frequent stops amongst some of the other tool sets that I have shown and will continue to show on Boogie's stream, my stream, and any other guest stream I might be on.
Fabulous, man. Good shit. Good shit, man. DeFi Llama is one hell of a freaking set of tools, bro. If anything, I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, Boogie. What do we got?
Yeah, man. The final thing we'll cover, I wanted to revisit this on Bitcoin. I had mentioned that when we may end up getting a dip. So let me go back to the Bitcoin chart, bro. And I wanted to show this data on here. And then we can call it a day. Because I know you cats want to ape in a little bit more. Let me see. Let me go ahead and access for you. Stop screen. There you go. Present. Now, mind you, cats, as you guys can see, the current cycle that we're on, bro, on the 60-day cycle, we're at about day 20. This red marker indicates day 30. If we push it all the way to about day 45, that will be March 8th. March 8th may be the time frame where we do see a higher low or a lower low, more likely a higher low, and that will be an opportunity to start aping back into the freaking crypto market. We were going to cover Ton token today. Ton is at a good value right now. It's one of the tokens that hasn't moved, so food for thought, cats. Now, if I am extremely bullish on Bitcoin and continues to rally all the way up to day 60, that'll put us around March 23rd. And that pretty much covers it, dude. That pretty much covers it. So, yeah, man. That covers the stream for tonight, monkeys. I appreciate you guys coming here. Go ahead and follow my homie Twinkie. Where can they follow you at, Twinksters?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on my YouTube channel or on Twitter at Mr. Angry Twinkie. Instagram is being real fussy. It doesn't like me when I try to verify, so I don't have the Twinkie account set up on Insta yet, but it's forthcoming once I can get them to agree I am who I say I am and not some nefarious individual.
Yeah, make sure you cats follow Twinksters, especially on Twitter, man. This dude's always posting up some good fundamental analysis on his freaking wall. So food for thought, cats. I hope you cats like the stream. Twinkie, when are you coming back online, man, so people can go see your next stream?
Yeah. Got to find the date this week. I'm trying to pretty consistently get to 2 or 3 streams a week. Currently eyeballing Tuesday, most likely of this week on that. And we'll see what other tools and some other processes and the like that I can run some people through. Also, for the viewers, I won't give away any of the secret sauce. Boogie and I had a really intriguing conversation last night looking at some charts. We're developing some real hotness and some theories. Once that's ready for prime time, you will find it on this channel in a future stream. So keep your eyes peeled on that one.
Fabulous. All right, monkeys, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I hope Taylor Swift loses. And I will catch you monkeys on the flip side.